Despite low inventory, the housing market in Metro Vancouver continues to see high demand. While some are interested in investing, others are coming up with creative ways to get into the market. Peter Schucke from Everything Financial joins us now with some sound advice as usual. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Jason. How are you today?
I'm great. So if you own an investment property, what do you need to know before you sell?
Well, the capital gains. How much did you pay for that property? And how much have you put into that property in repairs? Because that's going to help you reduce your tax cost. And then the difference is going to be what you're going to pay capital gains on. So here's a thought. If you know you're in this position, try and make sure you leave yourself lots of RRSP room, contribution room, because you can use RRSP contributions from the deposit to offset some of the gains. And if you can keep all the money in profit and use the RRSPs and really no money goes to the government, that's a win-win for you.
Solid tip. Okay, well now some people are pooling their money with family and friends to buy a property. Is this a good way to get into the market?
Well, it might be the only way to get into the market, but what could go wrong with that, with buying with family and friends, right? Especially if you don't have an agreed time to sell the property. What if say it's two couples, say it's you and your spouse and your sibling and their spouse, because that's very common. We see that quite a bit. What if the person you're buying it with, the other couple, what if they get transferred? What if one of you loses a job and is having trouble making the payments, and then the burden's on the other person, but it's not really, because it's your responsibility. You have to prepare for how are you going to sell the house and when. Have that agreement in place. It's kind of like they say getting married and having a prenuptial agreement. It's like preparing for the divorce while you still get along. Well, with the house, prepare for the sale while you still get along and agree upon it, or else it's just a disaster waiting to happen, and you don't want to lose family or friends over something like that.
So do you advise clients to go in if they can't afford to do it on their own, to go in?
Well, yeah, sometimes we see it, but you have to get good, independent legal advice, and you really, all four of you or two of you or whatever the situation is, or sometimes I've seen six, I've seen three couples. You really all have to be on the same page, and you have to be in 100% agreement to go forward. And remember, we've talked about many times, Jason, on this episode, don't make an emotional decision. Don't be so emotional that you're getting into the housing market that you make a bad decision on the purchase, because nothing good will come of that down the road. So keep the emotions at the door, use logic, use sound financial analysis, and then make the decision. And if it's not the right time, just bypass it and wait for a better opportunity.
I wait for a better time. We've been reporting all week about the limited inventory right now in our real estate reality right now. What is your advice to clients if they say, I do want to get into an investment property, whether it's a Whistler or a vacation home? What's the best course of action?
Don't spend more than you can afford. And here's one simple financial tip. People don't think this is a reality, but you have to be prepared for that investment property to go unrented, so no income from it, for 12 months. You have to have enough for 12 months. Remember, we talked about an emergency fund for 3 months? We talked about that a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, you have to have 12 months of all expenses for that property. And don't think it can't happen to you, just in case. Because if you don't have 12 months, you're going to have a property that could be foreclosed on because you can't make the payments. And you don't need that stress. There's been enough stress in the world going on the last 20 months. Don't add to it by making a poor financial decision.
It's great advice. A lot of people, I'm sure, are like ready to get on that Airbnb and renting it out, but you got to have that buffer of 12 months. Great stuff, Peter. Enjoy your time. Well, you'll be back here next week with Carrie, but
I'll be on. It'll be early where I'm going to be, but yeah, a couple weeks holiday, Jason. But I'll still be calling in and doing the segments.
You're the man. Okay, thank you. Enjoy your vacation. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Take care.